Imagine a quiet village, nestled deep within misty mountains, where time moves at the rhythm of nature. It was in this village that a young man named Hiroshi lived. Though surrounded by beauty, Hiroshi's mind was anything but peaceful. His thoughts raced endlessly, tangled in worries, regrets, and the constant pursuit of answers that always seemed just out of reach. Each day, his restless mind weighed heavier, leaving him exhausted and yearning for a way to quiet the ceaseless noise within. One day, Hiroshi heard whispers of a wise old monk who resided in a secluded temple high in the mountains. The monk was said to possess deep wisdom, guiding those who sought clarity and peace. Desperate to find relief from his own mental chaos, Hiroshi resolved to seek the monk's guidance. The journey to the temple was far from easy. The steep and winding paths tested his endurance. His legs ached, his lungs burned, and at times, doubts crept in. Was this truly the answer he sought? But each step forward was fueled by hope, the hope that somewhere beyond the mist lay the secret to an unburdened mind. After days of arduous travel, Hiroshi finally arrived at the tranquil temple. The air was crisp, the silence profound. He was greeted by the monk, a man whose serene presence alone seemed to radiate the very peace Hiroshi longed for. Bowing deeply, Hiroshi spoke, his voice filled with urgency. "Master, I have come seeking guidance. My mind is a relentless storm, my thoughts never cease. How can I empty my mind and find peace?" The monk studied Hiroshi for a moment before smiling gently. "Emptying the mind is not about force or suppression," he said. "It is about understanding, patience, and practice. Are you willing to embark on this journey?" Without hesitation, Hiroshi nodded. And so, his training began. The first lesson was the art of mindfulness. The monk led Hiroshi to a stream that ran beside the temple. "Sit and watch the water," he instructed. "Do not judge it. Do not analyze it. Simply observe." Hiroshi sat and watched, but his mind resisted. Thoughts darted like fish in the water, memories, worries, questions. But as he persisted, something shifted. He noticed the water's effortless flow, its way of moving around obstacles without resistance. Slowly, he began to understand. His thoughts, too, were like the stream, constantly moving, ever-changing. He didn't need to fight them, he simply needed to watch them pass. The second lesson took Hiroshi to a garden, where an ancient cherry blossom tree stood. The monk gestured to the tree. "Observe how it stands tall, yet bends with the wind. Notice how it releases its blossoms without hesitation." Hiroshi watched as the pink petals drifted away on the breeze. And then it struck him. The tree did not cling to its blossoms, just as he did not need to cling to his thoughts. He realized that much of his suffering came from attachment, from grasping at fleeting thoughts and emotions instead of letting them come and go naturally. Time passed, and Hiroshi continued to practice. But challenges arose. At times, his mind was a tempest of doubts and fears. One evening, a violent storm swept through the mountains, its winds howling, thunder shaking the temple. Overwhelmed, Hiroshi ran to the monk. "Master, my thoughts are uncontrollable. They are like this storm, raging and endless." The monk remained calm, leading Hiroshi to the meditation hall. "Sit," he said. "Breathe. Listen to the storm, but do not become it." Hiroshi closed his eyes, his breath steady. The storm raged outside, but as he observed it without resistance, he realized something remarkable. The storm did not last forever. Just as the winds would calm and the sky would clear, so too would his thoughts settle if he allowed them to pass without grasping onto them. Months turned into years, and Hiroshi's mind grew spacious, lighter. The constant chatter of worries faded. One day, as he sat beneath the cherry blossom tree, the monk approached him with a gentle smile. "Hiroshi, you have come far. But remember, emptiness is not about the absence of thought. It is about knowing that you are not your thoughts. It is about the stillness beneath the turbulence." Hiroshi bowed deeply, gratitude shining in his eyes. He returned to his village, carrying with him not only the monk's wisdom, but also a profound sense of inner peace. As time passed, he became a source of inspiration for others, sharing what he had learned, not by teaching, but by embodying the stillness he had found. Years later, in the quiet of his old age, Hiroshi sat once more beneath the cherry blossom tree, watching the petals fall. He smiled, knowing that the journey to empty the mind was not about reaching an end, but about embracing the dance of thoughts, the flow of life itself. It was about surrender, acceptance, and the quiet peace that had always been there, waiting to be seen. This story reminds us that true peace isn't about silencing our thoughts, but about changing our relationship with them. It is about becoming the observer, rather than the captive of our own mind. May we all find stillness within,